And good morning, boys and girls, and mommies and daddies, and grandmommies and grandpoppies. Today's story is papers, papers, and more papers. What are they going to do today, I wonder? Well, 2.5 weeks have passed since Mr. and Mrs. Farmer Brown took Little Bad Wolf to the lawyer's office, Mr. Chester Kilgore. Grandma can't remember the D's and the G's. Anyway, has said that you didn't even have to come to his chambers. He has signed everything over, and all you need to do is sign my papers. Girls, I keep getting that reconnect sign, so I don't know what's going on. Well, anyway, so they called Little Bad Wolf, and this time they went after school because they knew it wasn't going to take too long. And Little Bad Wolf says, "Where are we going to go?" And Mrs. Farmer Brown, she had the biggest smile on her face, and she looked at Little Bad Wolf, and he says, "Mrs. Farmer Brown, you're smiling, but you always smile a lot, but you're smiling really big today. Are we going to go back to see that man, that Mr. Kilgore man, that Esquire man? Are we going to go back to his office?" And she said, "Yes, we sure are, Little Bad Wolf. You were approved, and we have adopted you, and we don't even have to go before the judge any. He just read the papers, and he said, 'I'm going to sign these papers.'" "Oh, my goodness gracious. You get to be my mommy and you get to be my daddy, Mr. Farmer Brown?" And Mr. Farmer Brown laughed and he said, "Yes." He said, "That's what we are, that we are your mommy and daddy now." Oh, my goodness gracious. So they drove into town as fast as they could drive and went to sign the papers. And Little Bad Wolf had asked Mrs. Farmer Brown to teach him how to write his name in cursive. Oh, that's grown up. And she was teaching him every day how to write his name in cursive. And she said, "Little Bad Wolf, why do you want to learn how to write in cursive? We can do that this summer." He says, "Oh, no, Mrs. Farmer Brown, if I'm going to sign those important papers about me and about you and about Mr. Farmer Brown, I'm going to write in cursive." And lo and behold, when Mr. Kilgore gave them the papers, I want to tell you, boys and girls and mummies and daddies and grandmommies and grandpuppies, that Little Bad Wolf, he took that ink pen and he just wrote his name. It was beautiful. And he was so proud of himself. Oh, and Mr. Kilgore looked at him and said, "You didn't do that last time we were here." He says, "You printed your name." And Little Bad Wolf says, "I know, I've been practicing with my new mommy." Oh, my goodness gracious. With that, Mr. Kilgore kind of wiped a little tear away. And he says, "Well, Little Bad Wolf," he says, "I am very proud of you." So they left the lawyer's office, and it was getting close to supper time, and Mr. Farmer Brown wanted to stop by the post office to see if there was any mail. Because, excuse me, Mr. Farmer Brown, with all of his different businesses and everything, he always got a lot of mail. And so he wanted to check and see what had come today. And he didn't get yesterday's mail because he was so busy on the farm that he just didn't have time to go into town, so he didn't get yesterday's mail either. So he knew that he'd have a lot of mail. So he goes in and gets the mail, and he's looking at it, and he's sorting through it and everything. And here's a big letter, a fat letter, with a royal seal up in the top of the corner of the letter. Oh, he only knew one person that could use that royal seal in the corner. Do you remember Princess Hannah? He thought, oh my goodness gracious, but I'm not going to open it now. So he put it in the pocket of his coat, and he goes outside, and he gets in the car, and he handed Mrs. Farmer Brown the mail. And in the meantime, Mrs. Farmer Brown had been talking to Little Bad Wolf, and she said, well, now you know that you can move in with us now. When would you like to move in with us? And he said, well, today is Wednesday. Can we move in? Can I move in on the weekend? Do you mind if I would stay and move in on the weekend? And she says, no. She said, you have to go to school, and that's fine. You're used to going to school on your own, and that's fine. She says, what do you think you want to do with your house that we built for you? And he says, you know, I don't know, but let me think about it. And she says, well, I've got a good idea. And he says, what? And she says, you know, Little Bad Wolf, you know, you told me that you and the boys and girls like to climb in that great big tree down the road from your house. And he says, yeah. He says, that's kind of our clubhouse, because we go there to read our books and to sing our songs and, you know, things like that. And she says, well, what do you do when it rains? Oh, he said, if it doesn't rain very hard, we stay in the tree because we don't get very wet. He said, but if it rains hard, then we got to run to, my house is the closest, and then Little Pig's house is the next closest. She says, well, you know what you could do? You could turn your house into a clubhouse. Oh, my goodness gracious. And then use your tree for special occasions. I'll have to think about that, said Little Bad Wolf. That sounds like a good idea. Well, when Farmer Brown got into the car and he handed the mail to Mrs. Farmer Brown, she starts looking through it, and she's going through different letters and everything. And she says, there's only just one letter for me, and that's from the ladies' club. I guess we're going to have a meeting next week. And Mr. Farmer Brown says, well, that'll be nice for you, Mrs. Farmer Brown, honey. And she said, I know, Mr. Farmer Brown, sweetheart. I guess I'm going to go. I hate to leave my new little son here, though, but I guess I'm going to go. And Mr. Farmer Brown says, don't forget, I'm home, and our new son can pal around with me like he always does. Oh, Mrs. Farmer Brown says, I just forgot all about that. I was getting so carried away here. So they went to eat supper, and they ate supper at Bob Evans because that was Little Bad Wolf's favorite place. And they came home, and Mr. Farmer Brown went around, and he dropped Little Bad Wolf off at his house. Little Bad Wolf, he just walked in, and he took a look around the house, and he goes, you know, he says, this would make a good clubhouse. We got a great big living room that we could, well, it's not great big, but it's big to me, that we could use for the clubhouse. We even got a kitchen. Now, his living room and his kitchen was all in one great big long room. So he says, that'd be good, and there's a bathroom. He said, because the girls don't like to go behind the trees when they have to go to the bathroom. That'd be a good idea. And then we could use my bedroom for a storage room or for a work room if we wanted to make special Boy, this is a good idea, because we're always making special projects for Christmas and Mother's Day and things like that. We could have a room in there where my bedroom is. Wow, I think I'm going to suggest this to the three piggies and see what they say, because the three little pigs started the whole club. So he went to bed with a big smile on his face. He couldn't wait for the next day to go to school to talk to the three little pigs, Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly. Meanwhile, at Mr. Farmer Brown's house, he pulls this letter out of his pocket, and he says, Mrs. Farmer Brown, honey, this is what came today. I didn't give it to you because I didn't want Little Bad Wolf to see it. What's wrong? What's wrong? She says. And he says, just look at the envelope. And she looked at the envelope and she says, it says Princess Hannah. That's her seal. Oh my goodness gracious. He says, well, let's open it up and see what it says. Boys and girls, GrandMommy's not going to tell you what it says until Friday. And we will see you Friday. Okay? Bye-bye. Now, all you grown-ups and you boys and girls that's big enough to use the computer, please hit like, hit share, and hit comment and type in a comment, okay? It's real simple to do. All right, GrandMommy and the three little piggies will see you Friday. Okay, bye-bye.